Caitlin Clark drew 1.8 million viewers on ABC. It was the most watched playoff game since Game 2. The most dominant team in the league. They can't draw 500,000 viewers for a playoff game.
The WNBA just went from hero to zero faster than a fast break. One minute they're breaking viewership records, the next they're struggling to fill seats. It's like they forgot there's no I in team. What's the game plan now? Just when everyone thought Clark was unstoppable, the playoffs threw a curveball that left fans speechless. How could one game change everything the WNBA had built? The anticipation was electric. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, was about to make her playoff debut. Records were ready to be shattered, and fans couldn't wait to see what magic she'd bring to the court. But here's the thing about sports, they're unpredictable, and what happened next? It was like watching a blockbuster movie with a plot twist nobody saw coming. Clark, the unstoppable force, the one who had everyone buzzing, was eliminated.
Like we talked about in our locker room after the game ended, where obviously people were pretty disappointed in the outcome. I feel like there were so many ways I could have been even better this year, and that's what gets you going and gets you fired up.
Just like that, the fairy tale came to an abrupt end. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's disappointing, but surely the WNBA can handle losing one player, right? Well, buckle up, because the numbers tell a different story. Remember those sky-high viewership numbers? They didn't just drop, they fell off a cliff.
403,000. And it's not just the ratings that were in the pooper, attendance was clogging the drain. Ratings for Game 1 have got to be disappointing for Kat Engelbert and the WNBA front office.
We're talking about a plummet from 1.8 million viewers to a measly 161,000 for the first game without Clark. That's not just a drop, that's a free fall. Imagine filling a massive stadium, then suddenly having only a handful of people scattered in the seats. That's basically what happened to the WNBA's TV audience. This sudden crash exposed a harsh truth about the league.
Maybe if they had 10 Caitlin Clark spread throughout the league, maybe it would be watchable then. If you're one of the dozens of fans in the WNBA, it is only going to get worse from here.
It turns out the WNBA had been riding the Caitlin Clark wave so hard, they forgot to build a sturdy ship underneath. It's like they put all their eggs in one superstar basket, and when that basket tipped over, well, you can guess what happened to those eggs. Think about it. The Indiana Fever went from being just another team to playoff contenders, and it was all thanks to one person. Clark's impact was so massive, so transformative, that without her, the league was left scrambling. Empty seats and cringeworthy TV ratings became the new reality.
Caitlin Clark drew 1.8 million viewers on ABC. It was the most watched playoff game since Game 2. The most dominant team in the league. They can't draw 500,000 viewers for a playoff game.
Now, don't get me wrong, Clark is an incredible talent and her impact on the game is undeniable, but here's the million-dollar question. Should a professional sports league be so dependent on a single player? It's like building a house on one pillar and hoping it doesn't topple over in a strong wind. This playoff shocker didn't just disappoint fans, it sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA organization. Suddenly, executives were faced with a stark reality. Their golden goose had stopped laying eggs, and they didn't have a backup plan. It's a wake-up call, loud and clear. The WNBA needs to rethink its strategy and fast. They can't just rely on one star to carry the entire league.
However, I hope Kat Engelbert is ready for disappointment because there's a hell of a lot more of it on the way. They tried to convince us that there are other players in the dump capable of drawing an audience.
What happens when that star has an off day, or worse, gets injured? The Clark elimination exposed a vulnerability that the WNBA can't afford to ignore.
We could have done a little bit more to help it get back here for a Game 3, and that's what really kind of stunk about the whole thing. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league.
You know how they say don't put all your eggs in one basket? Well, the WNBA just learned that lesson the hard way. Now they're scrambling to pick up the pieces, but here's the kicker. Those pieces might be worth less than they thought. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, money. While the NBA is swimming in cash, the WNBA is barely keeping its head above water. We're talking about a league that's been losing around $10 million every season. That's not just a bad game, that's a whole losing streak. Now, compare that to the NBA. They're not just winning, they're crushing it with over $7 billion from TV deals alone. It's like comparing a lemonade stand to a a Fortune 500 company. The WNBA's 2024 revenue, a cool $200 million, sounds impressive until you hear the NBA's projected to rake in $113 billion. That's billion with a B. But here's where it gets wild. The WNBA had a superstar in their hands with Caitlin Clark, and you know what they did? Absolutely nothing. No commercials, no billboards, nada. It's like they had a golden ticket and forgot to cash it in. And now, the league's paying the price. Without Clark, the WNBA is looking like a ghost town. Empty seats, plummeting viewership. It's not pretty. We're talking about playoff games that can't even pull in 500,000 viewers. That's less than some cat videos on YouTube. Remember those packed arenas during Clark's games? Yeah, those are gone too. Not a single sellout in the playoffs without her.
More than likely, the WNBA, they won't see another Caitlin Clark in my lifetime. There were regular season games this season where Caitlin Clark drew more than 1.8 million viewers.
It's like the league built this amazing roller coaster but forgot to add any other rides to the park. Some folks are saying without Clark, the WNBA is nothing but a polished turd. Ouch. That's harsh, but it's got people talking. Is the league really that dependent on one player? It's like they put all their hopes and dreams into one basket, and now that basket's gone. This whole situation is a wake-up call for the WNBA. They can't just rely on one star to carry the entire league. What happens when that star has an off day? Or worse, gets injured? The Clark elimination exposed a big problem that the WNBA can't ignore anymore.
I thought it gave us a taste of where we wanted to be, and that's exactly the message that Chrissy iterated throughout the locker room. You know, those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league.
But here's the thing, this could be the push the league needs to step up its game. Instead of putting all the spotlight on one player, maybe it's time to show off all the talent they've got. There are tons of amazing athletes in the WNBA who deserve their moment to shine. The league needs to get creative. They've got to find new ways to market their players, improve the fan experience, and most importantly, make some money. It's not just about winning on the court anymore. It's about winning in the business world too. The WNBA's at a crossroads, and their next move could make or break the league. What if I told you there's a way for them to turn this whole situation around? It's not about finding the next Caitlin Clark. It's about creating an entire galaxy of stars. Let's face it, the WNBA has been riding a roller coaster, and right now, they're at the bottom of a big drop. But here's the thing, every low point is a chance to climb back up, and the league's got some serious decisions to make. First up, they need to stop putting all their hopes on one player. That's like trying to win a championship with just one superstar. It might work for a bit, but it's not gonna last. The WNBA needs to start showcasing all the amazing talent they've got. There are tons of incredible players out there who deserve their moment in the spotlight. But it's not just about the players. The league needs to think bigger. They've got to create stories that get people hooked. You know how the NBA's got those classic rivalries that everyone talks about? The WNBA needs that too. Imagine if they could build up team rivalries that had fans on the edge of their seats all season long. That's the kind of excitement that keeps people coming back for more. Now let's talk money. The WNBA's been losing about $10 million every season. That's a lot of cash, and it's not gonna fix itself. They need to get creative with how they make money. Ticket sales and TV deals aren't enough anymore. They've got to think outside the box. Maybe some cool partnerships or new merchandise that fans can't resist. And speaking of fans, the WNBA's gotta step up their game when it comes to the whole experience. Make going to a game feel like an event, something you can't miss. Get people excited about being there in person, not just watching on TV. But here's the real kicker. The WNBA needs to overhaul their marketing strategy. They had a superstar in Caitlin Clark, and you know what they did? Nothing. Not a single commercial. It's like they had a winning lottery ticket and forgot to cash it in. That can't happen again. The league's at a turning point. They've got to adapt or risk becoming irrelevant. It's not just about surviving anymore, it's about thriving. They need to build a league that's exciting even when the biggest stars aren't playing. Create a narrative that keeps fans hooked all season long, not just when one player's on fire. Imagine a WNBA where every game feels like a must-watch event, where fans are arguing about their favorite teams, not just individual players, where the excitement isn't just about who's gonna win, but about the stories unfolding on and off the court. It's a big challenge, but it's also a huge opportunity. The WNBA's got the chance to reinvent itself, to become something bigger and better than ever before. They've got the talent, they've got the passion, now they just need the right game plan. So what's it gonna take? A complete reset rethink of how they do business. From scouting new talent to improving the fan experience, every aspect of the league needs a fresh look. It's not about quick fixes, it's about building a solid foundation that can support the league for years to come.